Good, good, good.
Man, I'll tell you, can we give it back to Rose?
Yeah.
Great to be back in Chattanooga. It's been a minute since I've been here. Y'all grown. Wow. That's what's going on. I think I saw Dorothy on the way here in the rain. It was really throwing down. But hey, look, this is what we do. I've been on the road a lot. I just got back from North Carolina last night. I had a tour up there for about 5 days. And we've just been on the road, and it's been, I'm telling you guys, it's been life-changing with vacation. I'm going to give you guys some real stuff tonight because I want people to really know where we are because of my experience in the industry. And what's happening in vacation is amazing, right? And so this is, here's, look, is anybody over 30 in here? Everybody in their 20s? Pretty much maybe people over 30? Look, that's amazing. Let me tell you guys something. I didn't really understand network marketing until I was almost 40. I've been in the industry for 11 years now, right? And I wish, if I could turn the clock back on anything, that I would have gotten started in this industry in my 20s, right out of college. I mean, it would have been, matter of fact, I would have probably went back and, I don't even know if I went to college, if I to be honest with you, because I didn't finish, because we didn't have no money, right? I was the first grandchild in my family to even go to college, you know? So, and some of you guys may be able to relate to my story. I'm going to just be honest, I'm going to be very transparent, because I believe that when you tell people the truth on what's going on, that they can see the evidence of it happening for them. Are y'all with me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a guy that's a hype guy. I'm going to always keep it real because I want people to be able to really see themselves being successful in this industry because it has changed my life. I'm very passionate about it because I walked away from corporate America because of vacation. Are y'all with me?
Mm-hmm.
The last time I was here, it's probably been about maybe 8 months ago. I remember Ms. Somerset, she said that Athon Clemons gave the realest presentation I've ever seen. Well, I'm going to continue to keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because I want you to know. Here's what happened. I first saw this industry back in 1993. I'm originally from Maryland. I moved to Atlanta back in 1990. I was looking to get away from the high cost of living in Maryland. Okay, y'all heard me say I went to college, but we didn't have any money. You know, I come from a single parent home, and so things were really tough. And so I came to Atlanta because I saw the boom, right? I was invited to take a look at a company that I was working for back then and got started in that company. And I majored in communications in school and technology. So what I did was I wanted to get out of being a retail manager, which I was at the time, and I started working for a company called MCI. I don't know if you guys even remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I worked for MCI for about 3.5, almost 4 years. Here's what happened. In 1993-94, I was invited to a home presentation by some guys that I worked with at MCI. And we were doing pretty well. I thought we were really doing well. MCI was the company that went to the federal government and said that AT&T had a monopoly in regards to telephone, right? So they were the ones that broke up and then came Sprint and all these other companies, right? So I thought that I would be able to get to the top because I thought it was a new company, new concept. Well, I went to a home presentation like this with a couple of guys that invited me. And they said, Athon, we want you to take a look at a company that's in technology. The first thing I'm thinking, I'm like, I would be looking at a business, and we work for MCI. This was my stinking thinking, right? I sit and look at the presentation, went over my head. This was a company that would allow you to earn residual income on long distance, called Excel Communications.
Mm.
Okay? Some of you guys may have heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I missed it. I didn't get involved. I went back to work, doing what I was doing. 6 months later, those same two guys made so much money because they got involved with that company in the beginning, and I never saw them again. That should have been a clue. It wasn't for me. I continued my quest in technology. I started going from company to company. And then in 1998, 99, I became a project manager. I was making pretty good money by standards for myself. It's just me. And so I was making right at 6 figures. I figured at that time I had pretty much made it. I got these certifications. I worked very hard to get them. And then in 2005, we lost the contract. I said, no problem. I'll go get another job, command the salary. I used to go out to a place called Fort McPherson. Anybody familiar with Georgia? What Fort McPherson? Familiar with that? So I used to go out there every Tuesday, sit down with these generals and colonels and explain to them how we could help them with their technology and go all around the country. So I figured I could go get another job in technology. Here's what happened. I was out of work for almost a year. Couldn't find a job. This is in 2005 now. But you guys just stay with me. I said, what is going on? I'll never forget this. I almost lost my car. Had to move out of my place. I mean, it was a tough time for me. And so I started just thinking, like, what is going on? And I started to notice some of my friends were changing their career path and were leaving and doing different things. So I picked up the phone, called a friend of mine who tried to show me this industry back in '93. I didn't get it. And I asked him, I said, hey, look, what are you guys doing? I need something in my life. Right now, I can't find a job. Things are bad. I got my resume out everywhere. He said, well, Athon, we just been waiting on you, man. Come take a look at it. And that changed my life that night. I went and met a couple who lived in Atlanta on Cascade, and they lived in a big house, nice cars, and all I saw was pictures of places they were traveling. And I said to them, I said, y'all have gotten all this from this business from home? And they said, yes. I said, well, I need to learn how to do this. I need to understand this. But here's the problem. It cost $200 to get started with that company back then. And I said, look, I'm gonna write y'all a check, but you can't cash it. Okay? True story. I said, I need to make some arrangements. Anybody made any arrangements? Yeah, call some people and arrange some things. That was my story back then. And after I got started with that company, I didn't look back. Now, I did stay in corporate America because I had to learn the industry, right? I wasn't making enough money back then, but I became a student of the industry. I became so consumed every weekend, every event, everything that was going on, I didn't miss a beat. Look, I was in the business for 6 months and ended up in Hawaii and didn't even know how I got there. I didn't. The company had a big convention in Hawaii, and they said because they saw how excited I was. I mean, I was what we call ignorance on fire. I was just doing everything. Look, I was running so fast that my girlfriend back then, this is in 2005, she saw how fast I was running. She didn't want to support me, so she broke up with me. Really, I took her to lunch, bought some flowers, because I knew I had been on the road, because I'm excited. And I said, I know I've been gone a lot on the weekends, and I've been learning this business, and I really appreciate you. She said, well, Athon, you know what? I know you're excited, but look, I'm not interested, and you need to find somebody to support you. We're at Houston's, my favorite restaurant, one of my favorites. I said, really? Yeah, like I'm doing something illegal. It's not what I said to her, but I said something different. So, I took her back to work and I never talked to her again. True story. Why? Because I could not let anybody get in the way of the dream. Right? And so from that's what really life changed for me. I stayed in that company for 3.5 years. Didn't make a lot of money, but I learned a whole lot. Right? And that's what network marketing started to change my life. The personal development, I bought into all of that. I just started seeing something different because here's what was going on. I was doing a little bit of everything. I was also a promoter, all right? I was out there getting my puffy on, that's all I can say. Promoting parties. My parties were insane. 500-600 people come to a birthday party, like, whose party is this? Right? It's crazy. But I had a good time doing that. But what I realized is that the time of change, of having just fun, life started to get serious, right? I'm getting a little older. And that's where really I decided to really buckle down with network marketing. And that's where the magic started to happen when I got really, really serious. I was always in. I never wavered. I never thought. I just said if it could happen for somebody else, it can happen for me. I just got to get better, right?